Welcome to the Sonar Positional Reporting System, or SPORTS, and Marine Mammal Incident Reporting Module of the United States Navy Afloat Environmental Compliance Training Series. SPORTS and Marine Mammal Incident Reporting are key elements of the Navy's commitment to environmental compliance and stewardship. Navy policy requires strict compliance with applicable laws, policies, and agreements that are designed to help protect the environment. The compliance process often involves consulting with federal government agencies that administer environmental laws. Consultation has been and will continue to be completed for the areas where the Navy conducts training and testing activities. Sports reporting and marine mammal incident reporting are required for the Navy's Marine Mammal Protection Act permits and Endangered Species Act consultations. Marine mammals include whales, dolphins, porpoises, manatees, sea lions, seals, walruses, sea otters, and polar bears. The U.S. Navy's mission is to maintain, train, and equip combat-ready naval forces capable of winning wars, deterring aggression, and maintaining freedom of the seas. Naval forces must be prepared for a broad range of capabilities prior to deployment on the world's oceans. To employ these capabilities, the Navy must test its ships, aircraft, weapons, combat systems, sensors, and related equipment, and train its personnel to use these assets to achieve military objectives. Some Navy training and testing activities introduce sound into the marine environment. An underwater sound-producing activity can cause a range of impacts to marine resources, including marine mammals. For example, potential impacts to marine mammals from exposure to Navy sound-producing activities can include stress, changes in behavior, injury, or death. Conducting safe and effective training and testing at sea is critical to military readiness. The Navy must also take prudent steps to minimize the impact of those activities on the marine environment. The Navy provides a significant amount of funding and support to scientific research. The Navy is particularly interested in studying the impacts of human-generated sound on marine mammals as it relates to Navy activities. The Navy uses sports to supplement scientific research and aid in the consultation and permitting process. The Navy develops sports as its official record of underwater sound sources used under its Marine Mammal Protection Act permits. Sports provides the mechanism to create, submit, store, retrieve, and display data, which helps facilitate compliance with reporting requirements. Compliance with reporting requirements is vital to the Navy's ability to secure permits that allow the continued use of these sound sources. Navy leadership uses sports data to assess the projected need for these sound sources during future training, testing, and maintenance activities. Accurate reporting helps the Navy estimate the desired usage levels that will be sought in future Marine Mammal Protection Act permits and Endangered Species Act consultations. The ability to track the use of permitted sound sources is also useful in the event of a marine mammal stranding. The Navy can query the sports database to quickly and accurately determine if sound sources were used in proximity to marine mammal strandings. In 2006, the Navy implemented a requirement to submit a daily report on the use of mid-frequency active sonar, 1 to 10 kilohertz, during training, testing, and maintenance activities. The reporting requirement changed to include additional sound sources. Daily sports reports are required whenever the sound sources shown here are used during training, testing, and maintenance activities. As always, units are not required to report the use of these sound sources while conducting real-world combat operations or for safety of ship navigation. For example, a submarine is not required to submit a sports report for using these sources when coming to periscope depth. The sports website provides detailed information on the sports reporting requirements and process in the form of tutorials, platform-specific example reports, and user guides. These resources should be viewed and used by any personnel assigned to sports reporting. Sports reporting can be accomplished in two ways, through the Sports Web Form tool or via Naval Record Message Traffic. The sports website has detailed instructions for both the Sports Web Form tool and Naval Record Message Traffic sports reports. The sports website is housed on the Secret Internet Protocol Router Network, or SIPRNet, at the address shown below. Units that have access to SIPRNet must submit sports reports directly through the sports website's web form tool. A login and password is not required to use the sports web form. Sports web form reports are generated by a drafter, who is typically the Sonar supervisor or Sonar operator. The reports are imported, reviewed, and submitted by a releaser or authorizing officer who has been designated by a commanding officer or civilian equivalent, for example, the test director. Sports web form is an intuitive data entry and selection tool that can be accessed directly from the sports website. For most data blocks, the drafter should select the applicable response from a pull-down menu. Each pull-down menu is specific to the platform, which may be an aircraft, surface ship, or submarine. The drafter will also be required to type responses into several of the data blocks. For example, the drafter will be asked to type his or her email address. The sports web form tool will automatically check for and notify the drafter of most errors, including leaving required data blocks empty during report creation. Some types of errors will not be caught during the automated error checking process, so particular attention should be paid when entering data in these fields. These include incorrect positional data. Be sure to include your latitude and longitude correctly, as shown in this example. Entering a full 24 hours of use when the actual sound and water source use for that day was much less. For example, a ship that is conducting anti-submarine warfare training during an exercise transmits active sonar for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. In the past, this has been mistakenly reported in sports as a full 24 hours of sonar use. In this instance, the ship should have reported two 2-hour periods of use for a daily total of 4 hours. Reporting actual hours of use increases the accuracy of the report. Once all required data blocks have been populated, the drafter will have the opportunity to save a draft report. Draft reports can be accessed later for further editing, including the addition or correction of information. The drafter must send the completed sports report to an authorizing officer for review. The authorizing officer will review and submit the completed report using the sports web form tool. When submitting the report using the web form tool, all data contained in the report is electronically transmitted and automatically entered into the sports database. Units that have limited SIPRNet bandwidth or are unable to connect to the sports website must submit the standardized daily sports report through Naval Record Message Traffic. This option is often used by submarines. These are the same sports message reports that have been required since 2006. After submitting a sports report via Naval Record Message Traffic, units should review and verify that their data was successfully uploaded or transmitted. The data used to create a sports report can be taken from a unit's sonar logs, weapons firing reports, or the ship's log. Type the email address of the drafter. Under the Platform tab, enter the day, month, and year of the exercise using drop-down menus. Select a platform type from a pull-down menu with predetermined selectable options: aircraft, subsurface, or surface. If your platform is not listed under the platform name pull-down menu, select Other and type in only the name of your platform when the text box appears. Error messages will pop up if data is entered incorrectly or is missing. The frequency band, sensor or source, purpose, and details of the activity will be selected from pull-down tabs with predetermined menu options. Type a 4-digit active time start and active time stop, 000 Zulu to 2359 Zulu. Remember that a separate report is required for each day that an activity occurs. Add a new row to create an additional active line. Type the number of units used. For example, the number of torpedoes, sonobuoys, etc. Type the latitude and longitude for each time listed. Locations will need to be entered for every hour and/or 10 nautical mile of unit movement while active sonar is in use. The Drafter's Summary tab displays all information selected and typed into the platform and sonar tabs. Type additional information, such as comments regarding the specific use of the sensor, in the narrative data entry block. The Releaser Summary tab displays all of the same information as the Drafter's Summary tab. If you are a releaser, type your email address into the Releaser email data entry block. As the releaser, once you have reviewed and approved of the report, click the Release button to submit the report. Once the releaser clicks Release, the report is sent directly to the Sports Database Server via the SIPR Network Sports Web Form Reporting Tool for processing and storage. Once the Sports Database Server has processed the report, the releaser will receive an automated email. The releaser will be notified if the report was submitted successfully or if there were errors that need to be corrected. It is essential that sports is fully implemented by all units that use the underwater sound sources identified in this training segment. Accurate reporting of all permitted underwater sound sources used during training, testing, and maintenance is critical to the Navy's future ability to conduct these activities. Navy leadership uses sports data to assess the actual use and projected future need for these sources, as well as track compliance with current Marine Mammal Protection Act permits and endangered species consultations. In the event of a reported marine mammal stranding, the Navy can quickly query and analyze sports data and provide accurate information to Navy leadership and the National Marine Fisheries Service. Sports ultimately helps improve the Navy's understanding of the potential impact of permitted sound sources on marine mammals. In addition to the ongoing requirement for sports reporting, separate reporting requirements exist for marine mammal incidents. The Marine Mammal Incident Reporting requirements apply to all Navy commands, including any ship or aircraft under Contract 2 or conducting research and development or test and evaluation activities for the Navy. A reportable marine mammal incident includes a marine mammal strike by a ship operated by or for the U.S. Navy, a stranding of a live or dead marine mammal on shore, a sighting of a dead floating marine mammal in open water. All marine mammal incidents are required to be expeditiously reported through an initial OPREP 3 Navy Blue voice report, a subsequent record message, and any required follow-on reports in accordance with Navy policy. Taking photographs or video during the incident will enhance the report's accuracy and the efficiency of the reporting process. Photographs and videos will assist species identification and determination of animal size and condition during the incident investigation. All OPREP 3 Navy Blue reports should be submitted to the respective chain of command, which will then notify the marine mammal point of contact at the Office of the Chief of Naval Operations. For additional information on the current Navy Marine Mammal Incident Reporting policies, refer to the OPNAV Special Incident Reporting Instruction 3100.6 series. Initial voice reports and subsequent record message reports will inform the chain of command of a marine mammal incident. These reports are typically submitted by the officer in charge or civilian equivalent. In addition to the standard information, you will be required to provide additional details for Marine Mammal Incident Voice Report. Identify the type of marine mammal, including species if known, that was involved in the incident, and whether the incident was a strike or stranding. Also provide information on the location, operational status at time of the incident, and observed animal condition.
Home plate, this is Ranger OPREP 3 Navy Blue, over. Home plate, this is Ranger, routine unclassified, OPREP 3 Navy Blue. Line 1 incident. Whale strike off south coast of Japan. Line 2 narrative. Ship conducting routine operations when sperm whale hit ship's screw brake. Whale swam away trailing blood. Brake. Unable to follow. Over.
After submitting an initial voice report, a record message will need to be transmitted. Let's look at the unique information that will be required in a record message report for a marine mammal incident, using a whale strike as an example. Identify the type of marine mammal incident, whether it is a strike or a stranding. Identify the latitude, longitude, and a geographic descriptor of the incident location. Identify the person who discovered the event. This could include military, civilian, or other government personnel. Describe the circumstances surrounding the discovery, including operational status of the vessel involved in the strike. In this example, the strike occurred during normal steaming operations. Provide as detailed of a description of the marine mammal as possible. If you're able to, provide information on the type of animal or species, size and length, and injury status. Identify the existence of photographs or videos which should be collected to aid the reporting and investigation process. If a stranding had occurred, the strike section would be filled with NA, and stranding-related information should be included in the report. Identify the local time when the strandings commenced, as well as the time of last stranding. Estimate the number and type of marine mammals that were stranded and description of their apparent condition. This could include alive, injured, or severely decayed. Separately, estimate the number and type of marine mammals that died. Identify whether necropsies were performed and by whom they were performed. For both strike and stranding incidents, identify any surface, subsurface, or air and naval units in the region that were potentially involved in the incident, and provide information about acoustic activity. Specifically, was active sonar or an explosive device employed by a unit that was potentially involved in the incident? Include oceanographic details that may help the Navy assess whether sonar may have contributed to the stranding event. This includes surface winds, sea state, sound velocity profiles, bathymegraphic observations, and thermal profiles. Provide a description of any mitigation measures that were in effect during the activities. In this case, one lookout was used, and this person had previously completed the Marine Species Awareness Training, or MSAT. Additional information should be provided if and when marine mammal pre-exercise surveys were conducted. If coordination occurred with air assets, marine mammals were spotted prior to or during the exercise, and if steps were taken to avoid marine mammals. Identify the existence of environmental planning documents. In this example, the ship has a Protective Measures Assessment Protocol, or PMAP report, relevant to the activity that was potentially involved in the incident. Identify the location and retain all relevant documents, logs, and records relating to ship's movement, sonar usage, weather and environmental observations, and bathymegraphic observations. In this example, the logs are retained on board. Provide additional relevant information, such as if foreign navies were potentially involved in the marine mammal incident. In this example, media interest is anticipated. OpNav N45 will coordinate with the Operations Center and chain of command to determine whether follow-up reporting is required. If required, follow-up reports will be submitted in accordance with the OPREP reporting requirements. Follow-up reports should only contain information not included in the initial report, which may include update of the marine mammal condition. For example, identify if it was previously injured but is now dead. Additional photographs or videos of the incident or animals. Navy policy requires strict compliance with the Marine Mammal Protection Act and Endangered Species Act. To comply with these laws, you must report all permitted underwater sound source use and marine mammal incidents. Implementing all reporting requirements to the best of your abilities is crucial for the Navy's ability to maintain military readiness.